So here's pretty much everything to do with the high cal. So we've got our feeding rates here. And one of the, I think, amazing things about it is it's such a small feeding rate just to help them have all of those vitamins and minerals balanced. And then here on the right, we've just got the ingredients. So I know in the last webinar, people were sort of asking what's in the products and stuff like that. So we thought we'd put that there so everyone can see it. This is all on our website too, so it's all available. You can see everything that's in it. And if we have a look here, for a horse and light exercise, they need 120 grams per 100 kilogram of their body weight. So for a 500 kilogram horse, it's only 600 grams. And for a dipper, it's 1.5, so you're feeding less than half a dipper a day to have that all balanced.
Yeah, and you're looking at the top, like a maximum of 1 kilo a day with your high cal, you know, to prevent it. And a dipper of that is 1.4 kilos. And a dipper for us, that's our standard size. It's a 2 litre dipper. That's 1.4 kilos. So you're feeding less than a dipper a day if you're not feeding any other hard feeds. And that's where our sliding scale system comes into play, which has been mentioned time and time again in many of our webinars. But yeah, you're feeding less than a dipper a day for a 500 kilo horse.
Just to let people know as well, based around how we've designed feeding programs and our products in particular, it probably isn't super relevant because we're talking about a super specific product here. But with our balances, we do have consistent feeding rates in between the balances, minus the 300 elite pellet, which is super concentrated. So when you look at the 150 essential, the high cal, the lush, the dry, which is a stud balancer, they're all fairly consistent with what you'll be feeding when you're going through light, moderate, intense work. The reason for that is that you can chop and change in between them and you're not having to recalculate the feeding rate. So that's one thing that we've thought about to make your life a little bit simpler. And also that has the same effect with our performance feeds as well. So as we talk about things with easy response and easy result, they have a fairly consistent feeding rate. So you can move in between them and work out the balance that you would like to have as well. Yeah, just thought I'll add that one in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, Libby just said this product has been a lifesaver for me. So that is so awesome to hear, Libby. That is just amazing.
So here's just a wide range of our variety of feeds. So you've got your full feed balancer or both. So those worried about bighead or high oxalate pastures, you can feed your full feed. And like Hayla was saying, loosen, especially for your roughage. If you're feeding less than the recommended rate, throw in your high cal there, and that's using that balancer scale as well. And that's, yeah, you can feed both. So you can feed your full feed with your balancer to help with those pastures and your big head problems.
And it becomes more of an issue when you are solely feeding your pick in the paddock. So the more that you go away from having a grassy loosened hay plus your hard feed, then the intake with the horse with the requirements that it needs is more in line with what it needs to be. When you start to rely on the pick in the paddock and getting the conditioning solely off that, that's where the implications come from with having that imbalance and issues with big heads. So just be aware of that as you put your horse through more work. Obviously, there's going to be a more hard feed. And then the roughage component, if you are feeding a hay or a chaff, then that's going to contribute to have that balance correct.
Yeah, definitely. And that's usually when I see issues too, is when people they're just not hard feeding or they're not feeding anything. Their horses are just in the pasture.